with the Fox News Alert. Moments ago, the FAA ending its emergency flight reductions at the nation's busiest airports as the airline industry slowly recovers from the longest government shutdown in U.S. history.
This means all flights are expected to return back to normal after they were cut by 6% at 40 airports across the United States during the shutdown.
It's been a mess. It comes after travelers saw over 11,000 delays and more than 1,100 cancellations over the weekend. As of right now, there are still more than 400 delays and nearly 30 cancellations in the U.S.
But it's getting better every day. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy assuring Americans the restrictions are lifted after multiple days of positive staffing with air-to-air traffic controllers, adding, quote, "Now we can refocus our efforts on hiring and building the state-of-the-art air traffic control system the American people deserve." That was pretty much left in his lap. Mm-hmm. So good, it's good to know that people are flying. Guess what? We got 10 days until Thanksgiving. Everyone's going to be flying.
I feel like people have been going through this pretty strongly, though. They're still going to the airports. They're still planning on flying. I haven't talked to anybody yet who says that they're going to cancel their holiday travel plans, but I'm sure the thought's in many people's head.
The question is, does the staffing come back that quickly? I mean, the secretary can make the request for them to come there, but it's up to the people to decide that they're going to show back up.
A lot of people spending time in Ruby Tuesdays waiting for their flight to start. Meanwhile, the House is back in session today, with healthcare expected to be under the microscope as Democrats continue to fight for Obamacare subsidies.
Maddie Rivera joins us live from Washington with the details this morning. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning. There's a debate among lawmakers about how to drive down the cost of health care for Americans. Dr. Mehmet Oz, who's the head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, says the administration is having conversations about extending Obamacare subsidies, which is what Democrats want, but the administration doesn't see it as the best approach. President Trump says a lot of the money has been going to insurance companies.
I've had personal talks with some Democrats. The insurance companies are making a fortune. Their stock is up over 1,000% over a short period of time. I said, why don't we just pay this money directly to the people of our country and let them buy their own health insurance? And I made that statement, and I made it a little bit cavalierly, but it sounded good. And everybody has picked up, including Democrats.
Regarding replacing Obamacare as a whole, Oz did not call for that over the weekend, but he did address one potential concern should there be reforms to the system.
People will decide which doctors they want to keep. They'll pay for the programs they think are most valuable to them. We can save enough money in the ACA as it's currently structured if we adjust where the money's invested and drive prices down.
Some Democrats suggest they are open to working with Republicans on health care.
What I'm hearing out of my Republican colleagues is they may be open to doing something.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, we didn't turn the water back on, did we?
Oh, no, I should. You know how to do it, right?
Yeah, I know how to do it.
Okay, yeah, we left it off.
Okay.
Right.
I do it.
So did 10 minutes.
Some of those premium or those savings to buy your premiums, create more basic healthcare coverage so every American can have basic coverage.
The problem, they say, is there isn't enough time to implement changes before the subsidies expire at the end of the year. Lauren, Sandra, and Brian.
Yeah, Maddie, thanks so much. I actually think we're at the point now, since all Americans can relate to healthcare being unaffordable on some level, and they've all experienced this, including a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump. They're basically admitting Obamacare doesn't work. Anytime you ask for massive subsidies again with a Republican president, when not one Republican voted for it, you're admitting it doesn't work. And maybe this is part of the reason. When they put it together, they thought all these companies were going to compete for business. But all these companies looked at this and said, I'm losing billions. I'm out. Aetna pulled out of Obamacare marketplace. You know why? They lost $400 million. United dropped out in 2017. They lost over $1 billion and said, don't put me in there anymore. Humana dropped out in 2018 because they said, I'm losing money. There's too many people on the sick side, not enough people on the healthy side. That's against my free market business model. Cigna also is active in very few states. So the whole thought of Obamacare competing for the people in order to get clients didn't work. They said, forget it. MD Anderson, one of the premier cancer centers, said, oh yeah, if you have Obamacare, I'm not going to take you. The reimbursements are too small, and the deductibles are $6,000. If those are the facts, how can you not say enough with the partisanship? We have to fix it. Your plan 15 years ago never worked.
So it's not working, but there is a divide, Sandra, on how Republicans and Democrats fundamentally see healthcare and what the role of government should be. A lot of the Democrats and Republicans were on the Sunday shows making their case to the American people. Here's what they had to say.
We've got to fix this. It would be political malpractice of the highest order for the House to not take up a bipartisan bill coming out of the Senate.
The moral bankruptcy was the Democrats who wrecked American health care. Remember, in 2010, they created the Unaffordable Care Act. It did exactly the opposite of what they promised.
There is real urgency to get this done, and if we don't address it, then people are going to see huge rate increases.
All these subsidies was to mask the true cost of Obamacare and actually subsidize premium inflation.
Sandra, the government involvement hasn't improved health care. I mean, I think that's indisputable at this point.
I think there's a lot of room for bipartisan agreement here and a huge win for the Trump administration if they can get there. And if they could get there by Christmas, what a blessing that would be for so many. I think we can all agree the healthcare system has been broken. It's been broken for so many Americans. Everybody wants to get behind something so everybody can get basic care. I had Dr. Oz on America Reports last week, talking about Trump Care. How do you make this work? To your point, it didn't work for the marketplace. Aetna, what did they project as far as their losses if they hung in there? Didn't work for them. If it doesn't work for the marketplace, they're out of there. But if you can promise people that they can keep their doctors, they can only pay for the programs that they need, you're going to get a lot of support for this.
I think so, but it has to be bipartisan. Yeah. I don't care if you think the Republicans have this perfect plan, which they haven't revealed yet. It's got to be bipartisan because you're just going to tear it apart again. We just saw what happened when you do something on a partisan level. It has failed. Now, Republicans tried 70 times to repeal it, but the only thing they affected was get rid of the mandate. They found that was unconstitutional, forced people to buy things. So they got rid of the mandate, and now a lot of people saying, screw it, I'm better off without health insurance with a $6,000 deductible. The only other thing to bring up is the healthcare savings accounts. So if maybe that's a quick fix for a year to pour that money instead to the healthcare, to the insurance companies, you open up these accounts and you give it to the people while cracking down on the fraud and abuse for people making $400,000, which is about 10% of the people making $400,000 are getting subsidized health care. They don't even need it.
Meanwhile, the president has focused a lot on the border. The border is now secure, and now it's all about these operations. They've moved on from Chicago to the Carolinas, and the latest operation is Charlotte's Web. And the commander that's in charge that was leading in Chicago announced this, and I don't think you can disagree with this when you look at the numbers. The numbers now stand at 81 yesterday, and 81, many of whom had significant criminals, records, and immigration history are off the streets. That was done in 5 hours, and we're talking about felony assaults, felony larceny, and all DUIs, assaults. It just shows you what this administration can do if you put the cops in control of the streets again.
This is the CBP senior advisor, Ron Vitello, on how law enforcement is targeting what they say are the worst of these illegal migrants. This is Sunday Night in America. Listen.
They are absolutely going after the worst of the worst. People who are in the country illegally, have a final order of deportation, post-due process, if you will, and have committed other crimes in the United States. Heinous crimes, made victims of people in the Chicagoland area. That's the targeting that is underway. Now, on the way to these cases, when there are other problems that exist, when people are coming up and trying to get in the way of legitimate law enforcement work, you put hands on an ICE agent or a frontline CBP officer or agent, you're going to go to jail. And so people are being arrested even though they're not on the path for removal. And on the way to find these worst of the worst targets, if there are other people in that home or in that location, they will be arrested as well, because although the left wants to try to tell people that being in the country illegally is not a crime, it is in fact a crime.
The administration has to continue to release these rap sheets so that they can prove that these are indeed the worst of the worst criminals that they are getting off these streets.
And put them up today. Yeah. Put it up today, because there were protests immediately at the ICE facility. That puts everyone in danger. That means they're going to do the same thing in Charlotte with their left-wing mayoral government. You're seeing it. that they did in Chicago. They're going to end up putting fences around that facility. They're going to make ICE the bad guys. Well, I like to know how many illegal immigrants are actually lining up to protest there. This is known for its growing financial center area and growing diverse immigration population. Here's the question, and the New York Times doesn't write about this. How many are illegal immigrants? They're not going for people here legally. No one cares where you're from if you're here legally. That's the problem.
Can we just go back to the flags? It doesn't help your case. It doesn't help your case. When you say you want to be American and holding other countries' flags in the middle of a protest of taking foreign nationals that entered in the country illegally off the street. If you want to become American, have the debate with the president about immigration reform. You want to talk about getting the worst of the worst of the worst. But when you're putting foreign flags up in the middle of a protest, that doesn't scream, I want to be an American.
Just, you can look at examples of where this ICE activity is improving life for Americans. And you look at the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, and you are seeing crime rates go down. And if these demonstrators want to ignore what's actually happening on the streets, they can go ahead and do that. But you talk to residents in Chicago, homicides are down, theft is down, carjackings are down. They have greatly improved the situation for so many residents of
And
that
you used to
city.
live there.
Yep.
So you saw Governor Pritzker have a press conference?
Oh, yeah.
He did not mention anything that's down.
No.
That allowing their cops to go into other areas because the teams that the Trump has put together between the FBI, Border Patrol, and ICE have handled other issues. So now you have a lot of people self-deporting, running for the hills. So I'm reading these stories while people aren't showing up for soccer practice, they're not showing up for church. Believe me, if you're an American citizen, if your paperwork is set, you're going to soccer practice, you're going to church. The people that aren't showing up are here illegally, unless they're getting the worst information possible.
Meanwhile, the director of ICE, acting director Todd Lyons, was asked about the names because a lot of our audience members have been asking, how do you come up with these names for these operations? This is what he had to say.
We also got some news overnight about the latest operation to round up dangerous illegal immigrants. It is in Charlotte. It's called Charlotte's Web. That follows Florida's Operation Dirtbag. Who comes up with the names of these operations?
We have a great team that does it, but Secretary Noem, she came up with Operation Dirtbag, and she's proud of that operation. That just shows what state partnership does. You look at 230 or more, illegal aliens that were lawfully already deported, ordered deported, yet they were still here doing crimes, violent crimes, child sex offenders, molesters, predators, right? More than 150. So it's a great operation. Secretary Noem knows how to work with state governors, and that's what she's doing, and it was a great success for us.
Can I add a couple of things? Let's say those 80 people that they picked up yesterday have criminal records, or 90% of them, got it. Overstayed their visas, perhaps. But the other thing that I would do if I'm the president, I would show up at an immigration center. I'd swear people in. I want to say, hey, listen, we're glad you did it the right way. This is how you paid. How long did you wait? I waited 1.5 years. I paid X amount of dollars. I studied to take the test, and now I'm an American citizen. Why'd you want to be here? Because my country has let me down, or my family's been murdered. I wanted a fresh start. This is the land of opportunity. And if I'm the president, I go to the wall. I see the wall being built. I talk to Border Patrol because he has sealed the border. But I don't think people fully understand how he's pulled it off. And the media follows him. I don't know if you've noticed. So if he shows up at the border and he talks to Border Patrol, and we see those places that were overrun and the bridges that were being overwhelmed, and we see it empty, and the president does some interaction there, most of the networks with any conscience will show that. So we need to see the other side.
Gotta be smart.
Because Pritzker and all these others are getting all the publicity, acting like they're standing up for their citizens instead of they're standing up for illegal immigrants.
Well, if that happens, we'll be there to cover it, Brian. You heard it here. All right, turning now to our headlines this morning. President Trump is now calling on Republicans to release the Epstein files, writing, quote, House Republicans should vote to release the files because we have nothing to hide. And it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, adding, quote, let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. The House is expected to vote on releasing the files tomorrow.
That's big news.
All right, tomorrow as well, rapper Nicki Minaj is set to speak alongside U.S. Ambassador to the United States.
Doug.
Hey, Mr. Harris, that was me you're texting. I'm en route to your house.
That's great.
I've got another hour, 34-mile ride.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's cool. Okay, man. Well, let me tell you, when you get to our, I'm going to send you a gate code.
Okay.
So we have a huge subdivision. There's like 700 houses. Sometimes the GPS, most likely it'll bring you to our back gate, and you'll just punch in the code I'm going to send you.
Okay.
And then, but if you, for some reason, you come into the where there's a security guard and everything, they'll have your name, and you just have to show them your ID to get in.
All right.
But most likely, the code will be sufficient for you.
Excellent. Is it a front loader or a top loader?
It is a front loader.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've had this problem before. We've had it fixed once before. I don't know what the deal is now. So, but hopefully you won't have too much trouble with it.
Hopefully not.
All right, man. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. Thanks for texting me. And I'll wait to code.
Okay, no. Sounds good, man. All right, bye.
As well, rapper Nicki Minaj is set to speak alongside U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz at a conference addressing the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Waltz saying, quote, "I look forward to standing with her as we discuss the steps the president and his administration are taking to end the persecution of our Christian brothers and sisters." The conference coming after Minaj thanked the Trump administration for designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern for religious freedom violations. So far this year, more than 7,000 Christians have been murdered in the West African country. All right, Turning Point USA honoring Charlie Kirk's memory at UFC 322 at Madison Square Garden here in New York over the weekend. Their team handing out 3,000 of those freedom shirts in under an hour. Benny Johnson was among the TPUSA members handing out those freedom shirts ahead of the fights. He's going to join us on this show later this morning to talk about their efforts. All right, to football now. The Eagles, Brian, did you watch it? Staying tied at the top of the NFC after holding off the Lions in a Sunday night showdown, 16-9.
There's a controversial call in that game. The Eagles a victory again.
Okay, meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen scoring a whopping 6 total touchdowns against the Buccaneers.
Allen on 3rd and 3. Only a 3-man rush from the Bucs. Allen buys time. He's going to toss it downfield. Open man. Caught by Shavers.
Okay.
Whoa. The Bills beating the Bucs 44-32. And finally, the New York Giants blowing yet another fourth quarter lead, falling short against the Packers 27-20 to drop to 2-9 on the year. And they were up at one point, right?
Oh, they were up as usual. They were up by 2, but at the end of the game, they had this great drive, but the receiver turned the wrong way again. It's unbelievable. New coach, same deal.
I'm not even going to talk about my Cowboys. It's just like, it's the abusive relationship that we find ourselves in with our sports team. It's just never ending.
My guys are 2-9.
Well, yes.
You have it better.
I mean, that is kind of terrible.
It's rough. Weekend, huh?
Yeah. You know what? At least they weren't the Saints.
Right.
By the way, have you guys been? I mean, this Saints season 2 is incredible. I was blessed to be at the premiere last week with Martin Scorsese. I mean, just incredible. The story of St. Patrick and others. This is a preview of the Saints season 2.
What is redemption?
I mean, if that didn't sell you on watching this, it was really incredible. Watch the St. Patrick episode at the premiere, and that features Desmond Eastwood as the star of that, the actor. By the way, I had him on set last week. It's his first time in New York ever.
Wow.
And he's here for the premiere of The Saints, and he's just incredible in this episode, St. Patrick. And by the way, there's another episode that tells the story of a modern day saint who died in the early 2000s, 15 years old, was dying a wicked death of leukemia, but the first patron saint of the internet. And they tell that story as well here.
Martin Scorsese's Presents Saint Season 2, now available on Fox Nation. Meanwhile, the Trump administration setting its sights on America's affordability crisis. We're going to tell you when the White House says we could see relief.
And President Trump taking on the BBC over their speech edit controversy. A new report details alleged turmoil in their offices that led to the situation spiraling out of control. What's next? So as Americans grapples with the affordability crisis, the Trump administration says relief is just months away. Here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
We're already seeing on many prices, as I said, we're bending that curve down, and the increase in real incomes, I think Americans are going to feel it in the first quarter, second quarter. I think 2026, thanks to President Trump's signature plans, is going to be a great year for working Americans, for the markets.
Here now is Fox News contributor and former George Washington. George
the other George W.
Right, George W. Speechwriter Mark Thiessen. We were just having this fascinating conversation. The president has been able to do these massive wins, foreign policy, even getting a tax bill passed, the big beautiful bill. But the American people, they want to feel it right now.
Yeah.
What does he need to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, the president's commander in chief, so you got to lead the world and improve the economy at the same time. And I think he can do both. And also, you also don't get credit for solving problems because, like, for example, what a big issue immigration was, right? And then he solved the border crisis, and now it's less on the priority scale because people aren't beset by illegal immigrations on our border. So people pocket success, and then they focus on the next problem, and he's got to address it. I agree with you.
So the president had this take about the Democrats, and when it comes to this affordability issue, let's watch it.
The problem with the Democrats, they lie. They do it so well. They talk about affordability, but I'm the one that's getting the prices down. As an example, they had the highest inflation in the history of our country. I have it down now to a normal level, and it's going down further. Thank you very much, everybody.
It is a fair point for the president to make. And by the way, the Democrat solution right now is to pump even more money into the market. That's not going to make it better for people at home, right?
Yeah, it's kind of ironic for the Democrats to be campaigning on affordability when they unleashed the affordability crisis. It was the American Rescue Plan, $1.9 trillion that they pumped into the economy that unleashed the worst inflation in 4 decades. And then the reason why interest rates went up and why homes are unaffordable is because the Fed raised interest rates to tamp down the inflation they created. And so now that's why people elected Donald Trump. They remember that their lives were better under him in his first term and that their lives were worse under the Democrats. So they caused the problem, but now Trump is president. He's got to deliver for those people and make their lives better.
So we're already set for the midterms now.
Yeah.
You know, we go from one election to the next one. And one of the conversations that continues to be talked about is the conversation about men. Dave Portnoy talks about why he left the Democratic Party. Let's watch it.
My nutshell is generally they were very anti-normal guys. The white guy, and this sounds, but was the bad guy, became the bad guy. And there's a lot of, white dudes who are like, well, I'm not the bad guy. Like, what are you getting mad at me for? I wasn't here for colonialism or any of the stuff that you guys are complaining about 200 years ago. Like, well, what did I do?
It's not just white men, the men in general. When you look at the number, the flip, Democrats in 2020 had 52%, and then Trump had 45%, and it flipped in 2024. Democrats 45% and Trump 53%.
Yeah. So Dave is 100% right, and and the Democrats know it because you remember the white dudes for Kamala that they had for Harris. They did like a $10 million ad campaign for white dudes for Kamala. So they realize they have a problem with white dudes. But Trump actually didn't increase his support among white men from 2016 to 2024. He did increase his support among black men. Right. He did increase his support among Asians. He did increase his support among naturalized citizens, so illegal immigrants who came here and got citizenship. He didn't win the popular vote in 2016 or 2020, but he did in 2024. Why? Because of increase in support among minorities. Right. So we're absolutely right that the white dudes are going to be with Trump, but what's what made him president this time was the fact that black dudes voted for him and Asian dudes voted for him and Hispanic dudes voted for him. He made great gains in Hispanics. So we need to keep that coalition, but we need to the path to expanding it is to expand it to minorities.
And I think the president has to stay in the zone for what he did on the campaign trail. He was the garbage truck president.
Yep.
He was the McDonald's worker president. He was the barbershop president that went to all of these places.
Absolutely.
Got to stay right in there. Mark, thanks so much for joining us this morning. So a New York Jet player, he's fighting for his life after a shooting near Times Square. The latest on that next. Plus, President Trump looking to take the BBC to court after their speech edit scandal. The case he could make coming up.
Some folks waking up to a winter-like feel, especially in New England, the Northeast, where temperatures this morning with the wind chill feel like 28 degrees, 30 degrees, 32 degrees. With that cold air, we've got a little bit of wind moving across the Great Lakes. That's picking up some moisture, and you're seeing these streams of snow that actually, in some cases, are bringing us all sorts of winter weather advisories. We've got lake effect snow warnings, we've got winter storm warnings, and some winter weather advisories. So snow ultimately still on the way, at least a couple of inches in some of those interior areas, but there are spots across the country where it's feeling a bit warmer. Today, 111 million people above average. By the time you get into the middle of the week, closer to 150 million. And how above average? In some cases, very above average. These are all possible record-breaking highs on Wednesday across the Southeast. You're talking about the mid-80s in Texas, getting as far north as Nashville, getting as far north as the Carolinas, the mid-70s. So some really warm weather on the way. Those are your weather headlines for now. Brian, I'll throw it over to you.
All right, thanks so much. Meanwhile, a manhunt is underway after New York Jets player Chris Boyd was shot in Midtown Manhattan early Sunday morning, leaving the 29-year-old in critical condition as the suspected shooters fled the scene. Todd Pyro is here with the details. Todd.
Brian, good morning. The Jets cornerback remains in the hospital after being shot twice in the abdomen near 7th Avenue. That according to reports. Investigators have yet to make any arrests, but a manhunt is underway right now. Police say Boyd was with a group of friends outside a restaurant on West 38th Street when a dispute broke out, ending with multiple shots fired. Reports say two vehicles then quickly fled the scene, a BMW SUV that the shooter was allegedly in, and a high-end silver Maybach. According to New York Post, police obtaining surveillance footage of a car with Michigan plates driving out of a parking garage and crashing into a barrier as another person inside opened fire at the crowd. Now, while it's unknown if Boyd was their intended target, sources also tell the Post, quote, Boyd and two other Jets players left that area because he didn't like the vibe and sent some tension between other groups who were arguing with each other just before he was shot. A spokesperson for the New York Jets saying, quote, we are aware of the situation involving Chris Boyd and will have no further comment at this time. Boyd was on the Jets injured reserve list at the time due to a shoulder injury. A friend of the cornerback tells the New York Post he is in good condition, but the investigation is ongoing. Brian, back over to you.
Yeah, I think the suspected shooter had Michigan plates, so we'll see what goes.
Got money. $300. Another one bites the dust, baby. What's up, 60 Games? Your boy Doug out here grinding, making that change for the holidays. You know what I'm saying? There. No. Yeah. Damn. What's this one? Fayetteville, Kenmore had some sort of leaks. Today is 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Peachtree City. Today is what? The 17th. What's today? Today is the 17th. I'm doing nothing for the 17th. I'm sorry. Next. Nothing for the 17th, my boy. 17th. Not heating. Next. 17th, 18th, Samsung. Union City. Next. Today. Next. Locust Grove. Next. Next. Hello, this is Doug. How are you?
Hi, my name is Tracy.
Hey,
with
Tracy.
Armin Support.
Hi.
I'm calling on behalf of Miss Betty Hill and Thomaston.
Okay. What she got?
Services area.
I can. It's kind of a stretch, but what you got?
She has an LG dryer that's not heating up.
Yeah, I would have to do that, but since it's such a distance, could it work for tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.?
Okay, thank you. And what is your service call fee?
It'll be $89.
Well, I got good news. Their deductible is $150.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the 150. Yeah, send that bad boy on. I'll be there bright and early, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Monroe Lion. And this is Mr. Douglas
Speaking. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Email is boumon2168@hotmail.com.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, and call me anytime, especially if you don't want 150s. I like that.
Thank you. On behalf of Armin, sir, you have a wonderful day.
You too. Take care.
I'll send you over the email.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to there. How far are we from their post office? P-O-S-T office. Hello?
Hi, good morning. Is Douglas available?
Speaking.
Hi, Douglas. My name is Rihanna. I work with OMG National. I was just trying to see if you had interest to bring more business to Monroe Appliance Repair.
Is this like through an app?
We do stuff like with Google, your Google business profile, social media, advertisements, websites, all of that kind of stuff. Basically, we're all about increasing your online presence to help you bring in more business.
Oh, no, that wouldn't help me at all. I appreciate you, though. Thank you.
Yeah, have it.
Let's go to the post. Let's see if we headed to the post office. Yeah, I'll go get that 150 and take the back. Oh, yeah. Make a left. Nice neighbor. Gated community. And the bank. It's close. Okay, so home theater, TV, internet. Let's see. We need to go east. It's a beautiful, crispy day. We got 52 degrees. Turn left here. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Hopewell. Let's see. We got to figure out which way we going. First of all,
Hello. Hey, it's Rachel Stanley from CPR.
Rachel, you bothered. Throw that deer up. Hopewell versus Cogburn. Hopewell versus Cogburn. No, we're going to 23. 2, 3, 5. Put over.
In a quarter mile, at the traffic circle, take the 4th exit and stay on Francis Road.
Going the wrong way. So I want to turn around. We gotta head towards the crib. Let's do this. Brick Run. Watch, I'm going the wrong way.
At the stop sign, turn left onto Francis Road. In a quarter mile, at the traffic circle, take the third exit onto Cogburn Road.
We got to try to post off head home, not out the way. Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Take it, baby. Are you taking me to 400? Am I going south? I should have went that way. What's this one? This one. Yeah, whatever they paying, baby, I'm taking it. Low, cruising, low, with no gauge on. Flag football. This for the money at, y'all. It's either a Benz or a Range Rover. Don't see no just no way. Oh, down here on the right.
At the stop sign, turn left onto Jordan Court. In 800 feet, turn left onto Innovation Way. In 500 feet, turn right toward Jordan Court.
What you want me to do? Damn, I just put the card in there. That is correct. Okay, let's see now if I put in 5 miles. Let's go to the post office next. Very much. Okay, pull out of here. Got your card back. Let's go to the post office. Drop off some contraband. Gotta go all the way back around just to get the come on.
Take the next right toward Jordan Court, then turn left onto Jordan Court. Head northwest toward Windward Parkway West.
And then go down here. Yeah. Damn napkin. Out of tissue paper, out of everything, bro. Here they come. Uh-oh.
In 1,000 feet, use the right lane to take the Georgia 400 South ramp.
U-turn.
Use the right lane to take the Georgia 400 South ramp. In a quarter mile, merge onto Georgia 400 South, US 19 South.
Exit 10.
In half a mile, take exit 10 for Old Milton Parkway toward Alpharetta. Take exit 10, then use the left 2 lanes to turn slightly left onto the Georgia 120 East ramp. Use the left 2 lanes to turn slightly left onto the Georgia 120 East ramp, then use any lane to turn left onto Georgia 120 East, Old Milton Parkway. At the light, use any lane to turn left onto Georgia 120 East, Old Milton Parkway. Merge onto Georgia 120 West, then make a U-turn at 2nd Street. Make a U-turn at 2nd Street, Northwinds Parkway. Continue for 6 miles. In 600 feet, make a U-turn at Amber Park Drive. Make a U-turn at Amber Park Drive.
Smells some good hot dogs. Whew, they smell good. Boy, that smells good, whatever it is.
Continue for 6 miles. In 1,000 feet, make a U-turn at Westside Parkway. Make a U-turn at Westside Parkway.
Truist right there, too.
In 1,000 feet, make a U-turn at Park Street. Make a U-turn at Park Street. In 800 feet, make a U-turn at Kingery Lane. Make a U-turn at Kingery Lane.
Alright, we are done with everything. Take it on into the crib. Resume seats. Please take a moment to what? Just send me this for. Still no release party.
Marquis, Jake one, you got one with this. Lock shit in, let's go.
What's going on? It's your boy DJ Chidwell from the east side, and y'all already know what it is, baby. Queens in the building, Harlem in the building. The Black Orphan album release, baby. One take, y'all know what it is.
Sweetness, when you talk that, sweetness, what the ass got. She got a body, make a nigga wanna eat that. I'm fucking with you.
One up in the chamber. Do yourself a favor, don't try to be no savior. Challenge any takers, I ain't think so either. Fuck a nigga, fake love, you can meet your maker. Haters can't take us, and why heartbreakers? Mommy got that sauce, little honey got that flavor. Throw it in the air, ma, shake it till you famous. I ain't knocking hustles, nah, go on get your paper.
You know what I mean? This is Marquis event, but she don't hate. She knows talent, and her crew knows talent, so don't never take opportunities for granted.
Bigger than a tanker, shorty popping out, looking hot as the equator. Designer on them curves, head to toe, and it's tailored.
You better watch your man.
That was it. Let's show it. All right.